How's it going, everybody? Today is Saturday, May 4th, 2019. And as you read in the title, divorce, it's final, it's over. So I received today, of course, the official paperwork right here in my hands, the affidavit of service by mailing, as well as which is basically saying that this Ashley Krohn, Krohn, Ashley, Ashley, which I have no idea the relation to this, is not part of the divorce, but is or in no way associated other than the fact of mailing. But I believe it's somebody that either the attorney got to do, whether it be a paralegal or a personal acquaintance, or the ex's friends. I don't know. Anyways, basically saying that on May 2nd, 2019, she sent the following documents, which is findings of fact, conclusions of law, and order for default and judgment, default judgment and decree, notice of entry of default judgment and decree, by enclosing these documents in a postpaid envelope, which she deposited in an official depository under exclusive care and custody of the United States Post Office within the state of North Dakota, addressed to this guy right here at my address. And apparently I live in North Dakota. Interesting. I didn't realize my zip code in my city was in North Dakota, but that's what it says here. No joke. So news to me. Anyways, to the best of the affiance knowledge, the address above given was the actual post office address of the party intended to so be served. The actual address. Well, if somebody could look up a zip code, they would be able to tell that this is not the right freaking state. But whatever, it still got to me nevertheless. The next thing here I got findings of fact, conclusions of law, and order for default judgment. So the above entitled matter is one for divorce that was commenced on March 4th, 2019, before the Northeast Central Judicial. I can't talk. I apologize. Northeast Central Judicial District, City of Grand Forks, County of Grand Forks, the state of North Dakota. Defendant having been personally served. However, defendant has failed to answer such summons within the required 21 days. Yeah, because I'm not responding to bullshit, which is fine. You know, they can take it for whatever they want. This is not this county and this state should not have jurisdiction because, again, as you already heard in the other videos, and I apologize for repeating myself, but with the fact that I filed here, she filed there a month later, Minnesota has jurisdiction, not North Dakota. Plaintiff has filed a motion for default judgment. And let's see here. Default judgment and decree. Is this even working? Let's do like a testing. Okay, I was making sure it's working. Sorry, because I'm not seeing my little mic symbol down here, like loading or whatever. So I wasn't sure if it was actually reading or not. So, anyways, plaintiff has filed a motion for default judgment and decree. So basically, she filed for a default judgment and decree. The court, having reviewed all pleadings filed herein, finds plaintiff's motion to be meritorious. Yeah, it's meritorious to them because, of course, they decided to go ahead and do this or whatever. Now, the court hereby makes and renders the following findings of fact, conclusions of law, and order for judgment. Basically, so they're saying that the facts that was their information, okay, I don't, they're deemed as maybe correct information, but I don't call it facts because the fact is some of this information is not right. Basically that they've lived there, the plaintiff has now lived there for more than 6 months. In the projected entry of the judgment will have been a resident of the state of North Dakota. So she's been living there the last 6 months, of course. Again, my daughter was wrongfully brought to that state, has wrongfully been registered for school there without me knowing or any kind of talk with me or any kind of agreement. So keep in mind that this is, to me, is kidnapping. Call it kidnapping. because nothing was ever, I had no say in any of this stuff. So, of course, uh, they can say what they want. Yeah, they've been living there this last 6 months, but that was against my will. Then they have their address identifying information that I should be entitled to reasonable parenting time. And we'll get to that. But again, everything that I've already read before in the prior summons that they had issued to me requesting what they want, I can guarantee you that's not reasonable. And I'll explain that when I get to it. But it says Ryan should be entitled to reasonable parenting time with the child. And I guarantee you it's not reasonable because she doesn't want me to see my daughter. So Tegan, if you ever see this video, this is your father speaking. Tegan, if you ever watch this video, understand if you don't get to see your father, that's not my doing. That is your mother's doing, and that is the court of North Dakota. Her attorney from Brudvik Law Office, Diane L. Shull. Anybody that's gotten involved with this that has served me the paperwork, that is also, whether it be by mail or in person, any of those people and the dishonorable judge of that county, as well as the dishonorable Judge Michael Thompson here in Candioi County, anybody that prevents me or has interfered or gotten involved in this stuff was their doing to why I'm not getting to see you. So understand that, honey. I love you. I am your father, and I do love you, and I do miss you. But within my limitations, I'm being restricted my access to you. So me not being able to see you again is all their fault. So understand that, and you'll see why here as I read my paperwork. So when you see this video, honey, I want you to know that Daddy loves you and that it's not my fault. It says the parties have sufficient income, resources, or earning ability to provide for their daily living expenses, and therefore no spousal support shall be awarded to either party. Sure, no spousal support. Yeah, I get it. But if we're also able and capable of being able to provide for ourselves, then why the hell does she need child support? $836 for a month for one child. My daughter barely eats that much food. She's in school all year round, pretty much, except for the summer. When she's not in school, she's with her grandmother anyways because her mother is irresponsible. So do keep in mind that if she can provide sufficient and adequate for daily expenses for themselves, then she shouldn't need my child support. She's greedy, just like my second ex, Wendy. She's greedy, and it's all about the money because it's tax-free money in their pocket at my expense. But keep in mind, they're just categorizing this as spousal support. The parties do not own any real property. The parties have an interest in financial accounts and automobiles. The parties have personal property, which requires an equitable division, which has already been decided pretty much, other than the fact of the bed for my daughter. But after I'm done with this video here, I'm going in that bedroom. I'm boxing up all the crap. And hopefully, either Monday or Thursday of this coming week here, I will hopefully be able to get a trailer, get a ball hitch on my vehicle if I don't already have one in there. And I'm going to tow that crap up there to Little Falls. I'm pointing over here because it's north of me. I'm going to tow it to Little Falls. I'm going to get a storage shed for 2 months. I'm going to dump that crap up there. And then she can drag her little happy ass over there to pick the shit up because I'm not dragging it to North Dakota. So I see my daughter jumped in. Hi, Maisie. How's it going? I see you. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Appreciate you joining me on my live stream. And I'm sorry for my raving and ranting, so you're going to hear me rave and rant a bit, but I do appreciate you coming by. I'm hoping to get this to grow. But good to see you. I'm glad that you're stopping by and saying hi. I haven't talked to you in quite a while. Hopefully everything's going good in your neck of the woods. So, but again, the parties... basically financial accounts and automobiles. The parties have personal property, which requires an equitable division, which we already did. The parties have accumulated a certain amount of debt throughout their marriage. Of course, I've got over $100,000 worth of debt, and I'm trying to pay it off by working 2 full-time jobs, but that's not going very well. Plaintiff is represented by Diane L. Shull out of Brudvik Law Office, and I left my nice 1-star review on Google for Brudvik Law Office. So I didn't leave a comment, but I left my one-star review just to give my 2 cents because I'm not letting them have a 5-star rating for a crappy law office. So, And let's see. So the summons and complaint were personally served upon me on March 4th, 2019, as indicated by the affidavit of service on the file herein. Neither party is or has been in the military service during the relevant proceedings. Irreconcilable differences exist between the parties that would make continuation of this marriage intolerable. Definitely, because I wouldn't want to live with her for as much as she abused me, threw my daughter's table at me, wanted to argue in front of her daughter all the time. Yeah, no, I didn't want to live with that. Defendant's net monthly income for child support, which they're saying I take home net after taxes, $5,260 per month, which is bogus because if you imagine I take probably maybe $2,000 from my one job, maybe and probably about $160, about $320 from my primary job. That's what I get. If it wasn't for the VA disability, I probably wouldn't have much. And then my security, I probably make like $1,000, per week. So it's maybe about 3,000 to 4,000, somewhere in that ballpark, depending upon the hours I work. So where they get this net of 5,260 is beyond me. The plaintiff's guideline child support obligation is $836 per month. So they want to choke me for $836 a month in child support when I'm already paying $913 for two boys that I don't get to see, that have no clue who the hell I am, that call another man father. And she's all about the tax-free money so she can go take trips to Hawaii and go party with her friends or whatever, or splurge on my dime while I'm busting my hump working 2 full-time jobs, barely getting much sleep, hardly feeling good, which I'm going to be going to the doctor. I have an appointment on Monday for that, for the dizziness that I've been having and the headaches and stuff, which I had another headache today. So my doctor wanted to see me. He told me to come in. So I'll be going to the St. Cloud VA here on Monday to go get evaluated for what's going on with me. So hopefully they can find an answer for it. But again, if it's something severely medical, whether it be, like I said, like let's say, for example, if I had a brain tumor, I just want the diagnosis and finding a way to comfort it. But again, I've already got my paperwork filled out for my do not resuscitate order, which is basically if something bad happened to me where I need life-threatening procedures to deny it. So I have my living will filled out and stuff like that. I just need to get that signed off by a doctor. I might retype it tonight and actually change the doctor to my doctor at the VA and let him sign off on that. But I just want to know an answer of what's causing the problem. And if it's something minor, like maybe like if it's an infection, fine, give me some antibiotics. We'll fix it that way. I don't care. But if it's something long term or really viable that's gonna put a threat in my life, leave it. I don't care anymore. So again, her law office is the Brudvik Law Office in Diane L. Shull. That's out of East Grand Forks, Minnesota. The summons and complaint were personally served upon me on March 4th. Neither party has been in the military. Irreconcilable differences. My net income that they claim. My child support of $836 that they're going to try to charge me for. The parties have incurred attorney's fees during the pendency of this action. So basically, she's the only one that had an attorney, not me. Her attorney's trying to milk me for $3,000 to pay for her attorney. When she's the one that chose to get that attorney, well, I was doing everything pro se meaning doing it myself without an attorney. I'm not paying for her attorney, so they can try to come after me all they want. What are they going to do? I really don't care. The plaintiff seeks a change name as part of these proceedings. So she is seeking a name change. So she is going to switch back to her maiden name. Thank God, because I don't think she deserves my last name. Then, now we get to the parenting time. This is where it gets funny because reasonable parenting time, and I wanted to, if anybody has any comments on this or feelings or opinions or thoughts on this, I would love to hear it because I really do not think this is reasonable at all. I mean, this is not even fair. Pardon me for a sec here. I'm just typing to my daughter here. So, anyways, so I would like to know how this is reasonable parenting time. Basically, that's make sure I got the right page here. Okay, this is out of order. I'm missing a page. Okay. Well, now I'm really confused. Okay. I apologize. I was gonna read you this stuff, but unfortunately, I've just noticed that their attorney or her attorney absolutely can't do shit right. Um, because like I said, the first thing is, I mean, obviously putting in there that I live in the state of North Dakota when I don't, when I live in the state of Minnesota, that's wrong. But the pages are numbered, and I just noticed, okay, page number 1 doesn't even have a page number on it. It's blank at the bottom. Then it goes page 3 of 15, page 5 of 15, 7 of 15, 9 of 15, 11 of 15, 13 of 15, and 15 of 15. And then the next thing, default judgment and decree, again goes in odd numbers. So I have no idea where the even number pages are. So I am missing pages to this divorce and decree. So honestly, her attorney is how the hell how the hell she ever became an attorney is beyond me when she can't adequately provide paperwork. So I can't say this is okay. So this is apparently official because it has the dishonorable judge's name signature on this. But if it's missing pages, because like it jumps from page 3 where it ends as plaintiff seeks a name change as part of these proceedings, line 26 of that, and then it jumps to the next thing here. It's kind of hard to see, but it jumps to the next page here, which goes letter B, B, C, D, E. There's no letter A. So clearly these are missing pages in here. So, and I apologize if my my camera's getting a little blurry. So it's missing the even number pages. So I'm going to give you what I got, but unfortunately it's not going to be everything. Line B, well, since we're missing the rest of it, Ryan shall be entitled to extended parenting time during the summer consisting of 2 non-consecutive weeks. So basically what they're saying is during the summer, I will get 2 weeks to spend with my daughter, which is non-consecutive, which means it cannot be 2 weeks in a row. It has to be 2 weeks. So I picked 2 individual weeks throughout that entire summer. I'm supposed to let her know by the May 1st of every year, and she has to let me know if she approves of it or not by May 15th. I don't get it, but but keep in mind with my parenting time, I have to go to North Dakota because my daughter cannot come here because it's not allowed apparently. So she's refused. Her and her attorney in the courts are refusing to let my daughter come here and spend time with me. So I'd have to find time to go to North Dakota, and at my expense, I have to rent a hotel room, and which I have to pay for. Again, I have to let her know by May 1st, and she has to let me know by May 15th if that works for her. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, line A said weekends. I'd get her once a month. It would be the last weekend of each month, and I was supposed to let her know 7 days prior. So keep in mind, if I get her the last weekend of every month, why the hell do I need to give 7 days prior notice on top of that? But again, I have to go to North Dakota. I'd have to rent a hotel room. I'd have to spend time with her there in North Dakota at my expense. So this is my ex Jamie wouldn't pay for a dime for any of my expenses, neither my gas, my lodging, or food, or any of that stuff away from home. So transportation says for parenting time exchanges shall be shared, which is not right because it's not shared. If I have to travel all the way there, that's not a shared travel time. Communication, I'm entitled to reasonable electronic and telephonic communication with the minor child so long as the contact does not interfere with the other parent's time and their child's schedule. So I've been trying to get a hold of my daughter when I had Skype, and she tried, I think, to reach out to me. I think it was her, unless it was my ex trying to use the account. I don't 100% know. But I wasn't able to reach out to her. And now at this point, I'm trying to eliminate a lot of crap in my life. So I've deleted that Hotmail account that I had, and and Skype goes with it because it's attached to it. So that's going to disappear, and I deleted Skype off all of my devices. So I don't have anything now. So the only thing I have is, which she has my phone number yet. And if my daughter wants to call me and talk to me on the phone, she definitely can do that. I have no problem with that for the time being, as long as it's her calling, because I don't want to talk to Jamie whatsoever. I want nothing to do with her. So, Oh, what else we got here? Holiday parenting time. Of course, again, it's all at my expense when I have to visit, but they got it broke down between her and I on whatever holidays there are. So, um, oh, again, it jumps. I am missing so much crap here. So, um, I don't even know where to continue with this. I don't even know if it's worth continuing raving and ranting about this because honestly, if I'm missing every even number page, this is honestly pathetic. I mean, I could probably I guess I haven't shredded these yet, so um this is the original form for findings and facts and conclusions. So I could essentially feed you off of this one because I'm pretty sure nothing has changed. So I'm gonna skip this one for the pure fact that just know I'm gonna show you here. So it's witnessed whether or not I have all the pages, which is crock of shit. Um, make sure there's nothing personal in here. It's hard to see. It's very small writing there, but you can see the dishonorable Lolita Hartle Romanek. And I apologize if you've seen this backwards. I don't remember if you are or not because of the pure fact that in my imagery, when I'm looking at it, everything is backwards. But just know she signed this paperwork that says that it's official. So whether or not they decide to send me a new corrected copy with the actual all the pages in there, I don't know. But I will go ahead and read you what I have from the original form before that they submitted to the courts that they're going off of. So, where is it here? All right, so page 2 just shows ages, dates, or not dates, I'm sorry, ages, addresses, when we were married, where we were married, that we have a minor child together, that Jamie and the minor child have resided in North Dakota since August 1st, 2018. I have initiated divorce back in February 14th, 2019, that she filed a motion to dismiss on March 8th, again, alleging that she's been living in North Dakota for the last 6 months with my daughter. That, again, I had no say in whatsoever. This court has jurisdiction to determine the custody, which again, the dishonorable Michael Thompson dismissed it here in Candioi County, gave Grand Forks, North Dakota that they should award Jamie the decision-making responsibility and primary residential responsibility. Sorry, my phone is going off, my vibrating. I thought. Oh, give me a sec here. I apologize. This is not going very well. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so, and then I went over all that other stuff. So, she seeks the name change. So then we go into page 4, which is what I was missing. That has been more than 21 days since I was personally served in the summons, and I have not answered or made any appearance whatsoever. Of course not. The court hearing in Grand Forks County, North Dakota should not have happened. I filed for the divorce here. It even states in the paperwork that if a parent or whatever files for a divorce first, then the other one must request a dismissal, which they did, and then should be granted. But it should be, if the dismissal is granted, it should be on correct and reasonable terms. Again, I pled my case in front of the dishonorable Michael Thompson, that stated that basically I had no say in her leaving state and registering school there when she was already registered for ACGC back here, and that she is basically keeping my daughter for me, and that ultimately, what was I going to say? I'm drawing a blank. I am so sorry. I'm just getting a little stressed out here. So, anyways, that she was there without my permission, whatsoever. So it's kidnapping, more or less. And then, oh yeah, that's right. The dishonorable Michael Thompson. He basically, without blatantly saying it to my face, in lighter terms, he had put it as me as an uneducated idiot, because I did not come prepared to that court hearing, which I did. I had all the paperwork that was given to me for the dismissal hearing, and that I did not have an attorney. They tried to tell me that I was supposed to respond to her paperwork. It never said in there to respond to her paperwork. It said that we're having a hearing. The hearing is what makes that determination. Why do I need to respond if we're having a hearing? If it was only her filing it and me responding, there would be no hearing. Clearly, there's a hearing. There's a reason for it. And when I went back and looked at the paperwork that he was talking about, it said in there that I have 5 days before the court hearing to actually file my paperwork if they want to grant it as part of that hearing or part of that case. I didn't have nothing to submit because I was going to the hearing to plead my case. So the only idiot out there, or uneducated idiot, is the dishonorable Michael Thompson. So let me make that clear. Jurisdiction, they're basically saying they have jurisdiction, which is not right. Divorce, that we should have an absolute decree of divorce because of irreconcilable differences. Neither one of us was military during the time. She's represented by them. I was pro se. Residential responsibility. Jamie shall have the primary residential responsibility of the minor child. I'm subject to reasonable parenting time, which I was trying to go with my other paperwork, but I'm going to go off of this because this is exactly what they submitted. So this is what's going to be. Now, here's the piece that was missing, Part A, parenting time. Absent an agreement to the contrary, I shall be exercised, or I should be able to exercise parenting time on the last weekend of each month from 5 p.m. on Friday until 5 p.m. on Sunday. Upon providing Jamie with 7 days' notice, I shall be able to be entitled to 1 weekend per month of parenting time to be exercised, to be able to be provided to me in North Dakota. That's what I'm saying. So that's the piece that was missing. Then we went to that holiday parenting time. Now we go to page 6 that was missing. Again, it finishes up the holiday schedule. The decision-making responsibility. Who gets to decide what happens with our daughter? The party shall have joint decision-making responsibility. That's not the case. I can guarantee you it will not be joint because she's already got control of this whole situation. It's going to be all her. If it was joint to begin with, I would have had to say where she lived. I would have also had to say where she went to school at. So you can already see that there's already proof there will be no joint decision-making responsibility. The parties shall each have the following parental rights, duties, and responsibilities. I cannot talk today. Relating to the minor children of the parties, emergency medical decisions. Each parent is authorized to make emergency health care decisions while the child is in that parent's care. If she's never in my care, then that ultimately makes Jamie the ultimate decision maker for emergency medical care. Day-to-day decisions. Each parent is authorized to make decisions regarding the day-to-day care and control of the child while the child resides with that parent. Well, obviously, she's not residing with me, so again, it's all Jamie. Joint decisions. The parents shall jointly make decisions regarding the child's education and non-emergency health care. In the event that the parties are unable to agree on a major decision, Jamie shall decide. They might as well just delete that whole paragraph and just say, Jamie shall decide. Because if she already decided that, I have no say. Duties and responsibilities. They shall share the following duties and responsibilities of the minor child. Right to access and obtain copies of the child's education, medical, dental, religious, insurance, and other records or information. Now, and Maisie, if you're watching again, if you're still watching, don't take this personally, but I need to use this as an example. But with my first 2 kids, my 2 daughters, with my ex, it came to the point that there was one time, because her and I were battling, of course, over our kids, that I found out that my daughter, Kelsey, was actually had gotten treatment from a doctor. So I had gone to the local medical facility. This was in Little Falls at the clinic up there to request documentation on that. Even though I had no custody, I am biologically the father. I attempted to obtain records, and I was questioned and hassled by the staff there. They were to that fine line of wanting to refuse me access to their medical records because I did not have custody. So that line I just read, I'm gonna say it's probably not going to happen, or they're going to give me a lot of hassle again. It doesn't matter. Right to attend educational conferences concerning the child. This right does not require any school to hold separate conference with each parent. Well, again, if I'm working 2 full-time jobs, which I don't think will happen much longer because I'm making a stand as a person, a human being, a father, and a man, doesn't make me deadbeat dad, because I don't see myself as a deadbeat dad. In a world of today, the system, the court system, the judicial system, law enforcement, legalities tend to favor women more than men. I'm making a stand for what I believe in, that because I was denied access to my first two daughters, I'm denied access to my two boys, and now I'm being denied access to my most recent daughter. 5 kids that I have no access to, that I'm making a stand to show that I'm tired of this shit. I'm sick of this crap. And I don't care who supports me and who doesn't support me, but I know what I'm doing is right, because anybody that I have talked to at my job that has gone through similar situations is in the same boat, to understand that yes, they do believe that the system favors women and that the men get screwed when it comes to custody, divorces, or even in criminal charges. That if you took the actual same one crime that a man makes, and you take and you say you do the same scenario with a woman where she commits the exact same crime, and you put him in the court system, you can guarantee that the man's going to get a lot more shit for it and get held more accountable, and the woman's going to get a lighter sentence or a lighter situation. So, but I'm doing this because I'm standing up for my rights, because I'm a human being. I'm not an ATM machine. I'm not anybody that puts a price on their child's head and sees them as a monetary dollar figure or a monetary value or a dollar figure does not look out for the best interest of the child. They're looking at the money. They're looking at dead presidents on a piece of paper. And I said, if I ever had custody of any of my kids, I do not want a dime from any of my exes, because I don't believe in that crap. Child support is the biggest freaking joke in the world. I will tell you that now. It is the biggest joke. Just because two parents don't get along doesn't mean they should hate each other to the point that one should be holding the children away from the other parent. My ex is holding my children away from me. That is not right. The best interest of the children is, we don't have to get along, but let's, for the sake of it, compromise, look out for the best interest to allow both parents to be a part of the children's lives, to allow both of us to financially support while the children are in our own care, not have to hand money over to another parent. Because again, I got shit talked a lot, years ago by my kids. No offense again, Maisie, if you're listening, but I got crap talk asking why I don't pay my child support. And at that time, I had to get a copy of my pay stub, and I had to show them on there was a line of child support. Now, again, the state, my business or my job where I work, automatically takes that money out of my check, sends it to the state sends it to the exes. I don't touch it. I have no access to that money. I have no control over that money. So, and that caused problems before, because I got questioned why I didn't pay my child support. And I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? And it came from their mother. Again, while I'm upset and I'm disgruntled and I might be irritated with the fact that happened with my first ex, Ginger, I don't hate her entirely, because I do give her credit that she has allowed her and her husband work together, and her husband adopted my daughters, and I found it to be in the best interest, because I legally can't be there to make whatever decisions might need to be, like if they had medical problems or something like that and need to be seen, something needed to be adjusted. I couldn't be there to make those decisions. So by him adopting, I found that to be in the best interest, because legally, and the kids have been around him way more than me, that legally he can make decisions, and and it might be in the better interest. So I give both of them kudos for working with me on that, and for doing that, and for not wanting the child support anymore. So I'm not saying I 100% trust her. I don't trust her. I'm on that 50-50 mark right now. So it's give or take, but it's better than no trust, not having any trust in her at all. I have some trust in her. Whereas my other two exes, I have zero trust in. So keep that in mind. There's a difference here. So there is kudos to that. So we don't have to get along again, like I said, but for the sake of our children, I think it should be compromisable. And the parent that has custody of the child at that time should be financially responsible. So that would be, I think, in the better interest, and not put a price in your child's head, because that's wrong. Because the moment you put a dollar figure on your child's head, you think of them as a piece of property or material possession instead of an actual human being, somebody that has emotions, somebody that has feelings, or somebody that deserves to have both parents in their life, you're destroying that for your child. In all technical terms, the legal term to it, or the technical terms to it, is called parental alienation. Parental alienation, if you look it up, is basically where one parent brainwashes the child to believe only one side or one aspect of a story without allowing the other parent to plead their case or their side of the story. And then that child grows up to hate them or despise them or have regrets about that parent. That is parental alienation, and that is strongly happening in my life with all three of my exes here. So, but I had to get that off my chest there. So, but again, day-to-day decision is her. Joint decisions is actually her. Duties and responsibilities, again, the medical stuff, I highly doubt it's going to come. The conferences, probably not going to happen. Right to attend medical appointments concerning the child, she's probably not going to inform me. I probably won't be allowed to come there. Right to reasonable access to the child by written, telephonic, and electronic means, probably not, because she doesn't really want her talking to me. Duty to inform the other parent as soon as as reasonably possible of a serious accident or serious illness or for which the child receives healthcare treatment. The parent shall provide to the other parent a description of the serious accident or serious illness, the time of the serious accident or serious illness, and the time and location of the treating healthcare provider. That's probably not going to happen. I probably won't find out until after it's all said and done. So, or after she's already made decisions, so I'm not going to have any part of that. Duty to immediately inform the other parent of a change in residential phone number and address and any changes to the same. I highly doubt that because she was so hesitant about giving me the address to where she lives until, of course, it had to come out because of the divorce papers. As far as her phone number, I honestly don't know if she still has the same phone number, and I honestly don't care because I have no intentions to call my ex because I want nothing to do with her anyways. Duty to keep the other parent informed of the name and address of the school and the child attends. I do know where she attends school right now for elementary school, so I do know that at the moment, but whether or not that changes, I doubt she's going to inform me. Duty to inform the other parent of significant achievements by the child. Again, probably not. Each party, or I'm sorry, a duty to inform the other parent of legal or significant behavioral problems. Tegan doesn't have really any behavior problems that I'm aware of, so I've never seen anything in her to see that concern. So I doubt that's going to come around. Each party shall use their best efforts to foster a healthy, active, and loving relationship between their child and the other, and shall do not act and say any word intended or designed to minimize their child's affection for the other party. My ex has already done that, so that doesn't matter. And she doesn't care about a healthy, active, loving relationship between both parents because she's already trashed that relationship between my daughter and I. She's taken my daughter from me. She's kidnapped her from me. She's refused to let me speak to her. She's already brainwashed my daughter as well. My daughter barely ever talked to me. It's like I'm nothing to her. So she's already violated that term. So it doesn't matter at this point. Child's right and expectations. The parties recognize the minor child has certain rights and reasonable expectations, which the parties shall endeavor to recognize, including the following: a right to a continuing relationship with both parents. Now, maybe with her, she's not allowed to have a relationship with me. The right to be treated as an important human being with unique feelings, ideas, and desires. Probably not, because I think if my daughter wanted to talk to me, she would let her talk to me. She would encourage her to talk to me, which she doesn't. And on top of that, my daughter wouldn't be living with the grandparents. She'd be living in the home with her mother. The right to continuing care and guidance from both parents. Nope, it's a one-sided view. Jamie's got all aspect there. The right to know and appreciate what is good in each parent without one party degrading or disparaging the other. She's already done that because my daughter doesn't want to talk to me, so she's already throwing that parental alienation and that hatred towards me on that. Nothing new there. So, and I'm voicing my opinion here. I'm telling you on here what I feel and what I think. So I'm not trying to disparage or encourage my daughter to hate her mother, but in fact, I want her to know the truth and the facts of what's going on. Because if she's old enough, let's say, because she's in kindergarten right now, she's almost done with kindergarten. She's obviously getting old enough to the point she already knows how to run like tablets and smartphones, and she knows like about YouTube and stuff like that. So I want her to know that, because I'm pretty sure she'll gain more and more access, and she'll probably come across my videos at some point in time. But I want her to know that I'm out here, I'm pleading my case. I want her to see my side of the story and to take it for what it is, and she can interpret it the way she wants. I'm not trying to encourage hatred. My hatred should not be her hatred, but more or less, my hatred is just an opinion. It leads to an opinion of what I believe, as well as the truth of what's going on. So there's a difference there. However, my daughter interprets it is her own opinion. That's not me encouraging her to hate her mother. So get it. I want everybody to understand that correctly, so they don't get it wrong. The right to know that the parents' decision to live apart was not the responsibility of the child. As soon as her and I split, my daughter already basically told me, or not told me, but I'm sorry, my ex had already told my daughter that it's my fault that they don't live in the apartment here anymore, that I kicked them out. Yeah, I kind of did kick them out. Not so much my daughter, but obviously she's going to take my daughter from me, so I knew that was coming around. I kicked my ex out because of the pure fact that I got tired of the abuse from her throwing my daughter's plastic play table at me at one point, which I had gotten a restraining order against her from, or all the abuse that I've taken from working 2 full-time jobs, coming home, being accused of doing something that I wasn't doing when she knew exactly my work schedule, where I was at. And if she didn't believe me, she can come to my work and look and see that I'm standing there working. So it's not like I'm cheating on her, in the middle of my job, which is bullshit. And when I wasn't working, I'd come home. So, but when I come home, I got treated like crap. She always gave me the cold shoulder, didn't want to talk to me. She gave me that feeling she's angry. And then I already knew it was me, and I don't know why. She wouldn't tell me why. Until she got to the point of blowing up at me and accusing me of crap, and then, arguing in front of her daughter, which I didn't find that necessary because, she doesn't need to see that. But Jamie enjoyed arguing with me all the time, and I don't know why. I hate arguments. I hate it with a passion. I avoid it with all plays. Yes, if it gets heated enough, I will leave because I was wrongfully thrown in jail by my first ex. So I had to sit a night in jail because I called the police because I was being refused the ability to be able to leave the apartment at the time. So I called, which I talked to Officer Shermers at the time, which he is now the chief of police of Little Falls. So Greg Shermers, if you're listening to this, you can stick it up your ass, you piece of shit. And I apologize for my language ahead of time here. But I called him explaining the situation. He refused to send an officer up there to separate us and allow me to leave until I had blabbered my mouth, which I was young and dumb at 18, that I said that I slapped, basically hit her. I had slapped her arm is all I did because at the time she had grabbed into my arm, clawed into my arm during the process that I tried to approach the door. I even had claw marks and scrapes and scratches all over my arm that I even took pictures of. And like I said, I got thrown through the ringer with the court system. When you're a man and you're accused of domestic abuse, there is no winning. Trust me, you're automatically guilty. There is no fair trial, and there is no innocent until proven guilty. You're just guilty with no chance of being proven innocent. So to all you men out there, I highly suggest be careful about how you approach any argument with any woman, or don't encourage arguments. Don't enhance the situation if you don't have to. Just be wise about that. So, let's see, where are we at here? Degrading. Okay, the right to exercise love, affection, and respect for each parent without having to stifle that love because of fear or disapproval by the other parent. I'd never, ever disapprove of my children. I love all my kids equally. I have always said that no matter what happens, I am always here for my kids for as long as I'm alive and, above ground, and breathing. I am always here for them. If they ever want to sit down and talk, have a dinner or lunch or whatever like that, and listen to my side of the story, or if they want to hang out or just spend time together, as long as I'm available and I have the time, I have no problem with that. I will never judge my children for their opinions or the way they feel. They are human beings, and they have every right to have their own opinions and feelings, no matter what. Every person should have that opportunity. They shouldn't be controlled. I get when you got to set limitations and behaviors because you're trying to raise them as a parent, but you shouldn't control them like they're a piece of machinery or a robot. Again, they're freaking human beings. So I don't regret any of my kids. I don't regret any of their decisions. I don't regret how they feel. I don't regret the choices they make. I want the best for all my kids, no matter what. But again, um, I'm to blame. Keep in mind that. So, and she might have disapproval, but I don't have disapproval of my kids. I have disapproval of my ex and my marriage, but not my kids. Again, knowing that we're living apart is not the responsibility of the child. No, I was blamed for that. She already told my kid that. The right to not be involved in arguments or disagreements between the parents. Yeah, she always wanted to argue in front of my daughter and drag my daughter into that, and I did not like that whatsoever. I 0% had toleration for that. I do not believe in that. A child should not have to witness that or see that whatsoever. The right to continuity in the relationship with each parent and other adults and the children in their living environment. Again, I had no relationship with any of my kids because that was revoked, restricted, taken away from me. So, of course not. The right to receive mail and gifts from each parent without obstruction or interference by any other. I've had packages shipped to my daughter. I don't know if she honestly got them or what she's got and what she didn't get. I know that the things that she did get was the things that I sat down there when I went to her Christmas play or program, I meant. And we opened Christmas presents there. And I know she saw the Xbox and the DS and stuff. So I know she's got that because I was there to witness it. But whatever was sent in the mail, I don't know if she's got to even touch it, see it, play it, whatever. I don't know. So I can't 100% say on that. But I know that I'm not sending anything else in the mail because I don't know if it'll ever reach her. I don't know if her mother will let her have anything from me or anything to do with me. Again, right to contact via phone or other electronic means with each parent without obstruction. That's not happening. Then there's basically post-judgment modification that no motion for an order to modify primary residential responsibility may be made earlier than 2 years after the date of entry of an order establishing primary residential responsibility, unless the court finds the persistent and willful denial of interference with parenting time. So if I were to make every attempt to try to make my parenting time with my daughter and she refused every aspect of that, then the court could change the residential where she lives to me instead of her. Or B, the child's present environment may endanger the child's physical or emotional health or impair the child's emotional development. Again, the court systems don't care whether or not a child gets hurt emotionally, physically. I've seen so many cases, especially on YouTube out here, where a parent or a mother, let's say, for example, would do a lot of harm to their children, and then the system gets involved temporarily, takes them out of the home, sends them through whatever programs they send them through, and then not long later, they end up back in the care of their mother. Now, if the roles are reversed, and let's say the father caused that same exact scenario, the father would lose custody, would not be able to see their kid anymore, or if they were even likely to be able to see their kid, it would be under a supervised visitation program, or they would have permanent restriction from the child. So that's a complete difference there. And like I said, there's already been emotional health and where Jamie has already violated her emotional health by seeing me as something less than nothing. I know it's hard to say that, is there anything less than nothing? Yeah, I could be pot scum. That's pretty much something other than nothing. So honestly, like I said, she's already got some hatred for me. So she's already encouraging the emotional health or whatever aspect to be in danger, more or less. The primary residential responsibility for the child is changed to the other parent for longer than 6 months. So basically, let's say Jamie supposedly gives my daughter to me and then she lives with me for 6 months, then I can request a court order at that point and say, well, she's been with me for 6 months straight. I would like the residential responsibility to be sent to me. Then the judge can grant that. Residence of the child, a parent with primary residential responsibility for a child may not change the primary residence of the child to another state except upon court order or with the consent of the other parent. Well, I guarantee she would not get consent from me because unless she was coming back to Minnesota, that would be the only exception. But outside of that, she would probably, request the court's permission to do it. She'd do that bypass, get around me loophole thing. Or a court order is not. Let's see. A court order is not required if the other parent is not exercised visitation rights, which that's why she put this schedule for me to be able to see my daughter. She put it in a format that is going to make it really impossible for me to do it, because then she's going to say, well, he never came and visited his daughter. Well, yeah, it's completely freaking impossible when you ain't got the time, you ain't got the money, and that's a 5-hour freaking trip one way. That's 10 hours, between there and back. That's almost half your day already. So, yeah, she knows it's going to be completely impossible to do this. So she's going to use that to her advantage. And that's for a period of 1 year. Or number two, has moved to another state and is more than 50 miles away, which technically, if you think about it, I'm in the state of Minnesota already. She's in North Dakota, and we are more than 50 miles away. So that's already within her, permission for the residence of the child. Again, child support, they want me to pay $836 a month. Let's see. And that they're saying that they gave me credit for providing health insurance for my child, but yeah, okay, I don't believe that. Payment of the amount of child support shall continue until the child reaches the age of 18 or is otherwise emancipated, or if upon attaining the age of 18, the child has not yet graduated from high school and continues to reside with the obligee until the child's graduation from high school, but in no event shall the child support obligation continue beyond the youngest child's 19th birthday. So the furthest that she would ever get paid would be till the child turns 19. Pursuant to statute, the income of the obligor is me, obligee is her, by the way. The obligor shall notify the clerk of district court of every change in employment, including the name and address of the obligor's employer and the date such employment began. Further, all child support payments shall be paid to North Dakota State Disbursement Unit, which is North Dakota CSE, which is child support, not agency, but child support enforcement agency. P.O. Box 7280, Bismarck, North Dakota. The funny part is I've already disclosed this in my other videos that when this becomes a permanent thing, which it has, so now it becomes the details of putting in my 2-week notice at both my jobs, because like I said, I'm going to quit both my jobs because I'm not a freaking human ATM, and it's going to cause my child support to backlog, and it's going to go behind. I don't know what point they go and enforce these orders to now. I know that there's been people that have served jail time. They've got their license revoked. You name it. It goes on their, charge goes onto their history or whatever, as far as, a criminal history, shall I say, for non-payment of child support. Well, that would prevent me it would pretty much prevent me from getting a job, or it'd be tough to get a job when they pull your criminal history and they say, oh God, you got a misdemeanor for non-payment of child support. Well, yeah, I volunteered to not have to pay it. Not that I don't want to support my children, but the amount that they want me to pay is freaking outrageous. Essentially, the $836 a month plus the $913 from my second ex, that'd be $1,700 a month. That is like my GameStop job alone. That is what I make almost grossly. I make a little bit more grossly. That's gross. Now, my net take home right now, after paying child support to my second ex, I only take home $160 every 2 weeks. That's what I physically get deposited into my bank account. That's all I get from that job. So me working my second full-time job, that is for the sake of, because I have debt I have to pay. And my ex-wife here sat here and helped me build that up, and she doesn't want to pay a damn dime for it. And the attorney got her out of this crap, and the judge granted it for her. So she doesn't have to help me pay the debt that was jointly incurred. So what a joke that was. So saying that I cannot make child support payments directly to the obligee, I basically would have to send a payment to the child support enforcement. They would have to document it, and then they send it to the obligee. Any party can request a review of our child support order, which, maybe if I quit both my jobs, I'll send it up there and say, hey, I don't have jobs. I'll let them know. And then they can take it for what it is. And if they want to lower it, fine. And then it says, should the obligating parent, me, become delinquent, additional amount of child support may be added on to the current obligation until child support is brought current. So if a parent cannot pay child support because the amount is unreasonable, causing them to go delinquent, they're saying is, oh, we're going to add another 30% of whatever it is. So let's say you paid $800 a month for child support, and the percentage that they're going to tack on to your past due obligation is 30%. They're saying each month they're going to add another $240 to that amount. What the fuck's the point of that? If I can't pay the original amount, what makes you think I'm going to be able to pay the past due amount? I don't get it. Let's see. Then they saying that they can offset against your federal and state income tax. Okay, I don't get federal and state anymore. The last couple of years here has been really sucky. This year I had to pay $2,100 in between federal and state. Last year was like, I think it was like $1,100 to $1,300. So as you can see, each year I'm having to pay more and more in. So if they think they're going to take my federal or my state, that's a joke, because there's nothing to take. Should the obligor's child support obligation be suspended or terminated, the monthly payment due toward arrears shall be in an amount commensurate with North Dakota. So basically, if my child support would become suspended or terminated, where I don't have to pay it anymore, the monthly payment due toward arrears shall be in an amount commensurate. Basically saying the amount would be equivalent between what I owe for current monthly obligation, or actually, I'm sorry, I have that wrong. I'm saying that wrong. The amount that I'm paying for child support would actually be applied to their arrearage, not current support obligation, because it would be suspended. Sorry, I misquoted that. Each party subject to this order shall immediately inform the state disbursement unit of the party's social security number, residential and mailing addresses, and any changes of address, telephone number, motor vehicle license number, operator license number, that is, employer's name, address, and telephone number, change of any other condition which may affect the proper administration of Chapter 1409 within 10 days. Insurance coverage, I'm responsible for the minor child. Uninsured medical expenses, it says that we should be equally responsible for the bills. I highly doubt that's going to happen, because she never has money. She's always broke. She's in debt. She filed bankruptcy. See, I'm in debt, but my payments have always been on time and always been more than the amount due. So I have good credit. I don't have the bankruptcy on my record anymore. I've gotten rid of that. But she filed bankruptcy, gets credit card, re-racks them up, goes into collections again, even after she's been in bankruptcy. So if she's that irresponsible, who would get stuck paying the medical bills? I would. I'm not entitled to any income tax exemptions with my daughter. So even though I would be paying child support, I'm never allowed to claim my daughter on my income taxes. Jamie gets her every year, so she gets her as a deduction. I don't. So of course Jamie's going to get money back every year. Dispute resolution in the case that where both parties have an issue with a child-related dispute, the parties shall put forth a mutual effort to cooperate. Not possible, because she doesn't cooperate. To resolve any issues or seek assistance of mediation services prior to seeking relief of the court. So basically, if we can't resolve it, we should seek a mediation, somebody that mediates between us, finds a middle ground, whatever, without having to take it to the court and request a judge to create an order. Spousal support, no spousal support. Personal property between plaintiff and defendant. We get what we already got, other than the fact that the plaintiff, being her, she wants the light-headed bed for my daughter, which is fine, because like I said, when I'm done with this video, I'm going to go right back here in this room behind me, and I'm going to be packing up all her crap, making sure the beds are disabled if I can. So I might not even get any sleep before I have to go to work tomorrow, because I'm going to be working on this hardcore. But I'm going to take it all down, get it all ready, and then I'm hopefully going to get the trailer thing taken care of with the ball hitch in my car, get a storage shed up in Little Falls, rented, and I'm going to bring it for 2 months, bring it up there, and then I'm going to drop it off in the storage shed, and she can pick it up. And if she loses out in the 2 months and it goes to the Galdarn, whatever the storage shed people, the company, whatever they decide to do with it, is up to them then, if she chooses not to pick it up. Pets. My dog is I guess you could say kind of a pet, but my dog is an emotional support animal. It was for the purpose that I was authorized by the VA medically with the documentation, a note or a letter or whatever, certifying that it is recommended that I should have my dog because of my depression and my anxiety. He gets treated like a pet, but he's again my emotional support animal. But it's saying that if I should be unwilling to keep the dog or unable to, then it shall be given to the minor child rather than sold or given away. Um, I would love for my daughter to have my dog, but I'm not going to let her have her, or I'm not going to let her have him while she's in the presence or care of my ex. Automobiles, the 2015 GMC Terrain, that was actually switched up on the paperwork because she's got a 2015 Chevy Equinox that is being leased through her job. And I don't know how they found out, but I had gotten a different vehicle from my 2015 Equinox. The Terrain I still have. My roommate here is actually paying for the monthly payments on that. And I told her that if she pays off the car, I'll sign over the car to her so she can permanently have the vehicle. That way I don't get stuck with both payments. So, and it's a win-win for both of us. So I have the Terrain, or she has the Terrain she's paying on. I had a 15 Equinox, but I traded that in and got a 2019 Chevy Traverse because my other vehicle was having a lot of issues where I had it in the shop and I was putting like almost $2,000 into that car worth of repairs it was getting ridiculous. It was nice having the manufacturer's warranty because then if something went wrong, everything was covered under the manufacturer warranty. I didn't have to pay for that. But how they pulled it, which I'm still going to find out because I'm going to run my credit report and I'm going to see if there's any hit on there. And if there is a hit on there, without any legal authorization from me or any court order allowing them to obtain that evidence, I call it evidential, or what do I call it? Evidentiary information, because it is evidence essentially to be used in a court case, that if they illegally obtain that without a written consent or a court order authorizing it, I am going to talk to an attorney around here and see what kind of lawsuit I can file against Brudvig Law Office and my ex for the sake that she hired him, so she's equally responsible for it, and take action upon it. Because again, if they do a credit inquiry, it goes on your credit history, your credit report, and if you go to annualcreditreport.com, you can get a free credit report from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You can do it once per year, but they give you a free credit report that shows you all the positive and the negative things on your credit report or anything that's showing up on there. So if you have any outstanding bills and stuff like that, or anything that's in collections, that's a great way to find out. So I will be doing that as well here. I'm going to get that taken care of here soon as well. I might even do that before I start the room. I might do that so I can print it up so nothing can be changed before then. So that way I have evidence and proof and the date that it was done. And then they have her Terrain in there. Bank accounts, we're responsible for our own bank accounts. I have a bank account for Tegan, but again, I only have $5 in there because the $2,500 that I had stashed away, I was forced to have to use it because of my ex. And at the moment, I really don't want to put anything in there because I don't want her having any legal access to that account. So if I do plan on storing anything away from my daughter, I'm going to have to do it as a side thing in a cash format or in a very safe. I might even do it as a safety deposit box potentially, where it requires a key from the actual banking facility and myself, or the one that I would get. It would require 2 keys at the same time in order to access that box. And at that point, that's where I think that the money would be. That way, there is no possibility that she could get access to it. I'm still weighing the options, which I'll figure that out as well. Credit cards, each party shall be responsible for credit cards in his or her own name. Of course, I shared the expenses on there. I allowed her to help absorb or rack up my credit cards by supporting her and stuff like that. But I was a fool for doing so because she obviously knew the cards were only in my name because I didn't put her on there, because with my previous marriages, I had an experience where it's not wise to do a joint account with your significant other, because in the long run, you're going to get screwed with it. So, but even though I didn't, I still got screwed. So let's just put it that way. Retirement interest, I have no retirement. Basically, if we did have retirement accounts, both of us are clean and freer from being able to touch each other's retirement accounts. Joint debts, any debt that that we incurred in our own names, then we're responsible for our own. There is no joint unsecured debt. Each party shall indemnify and hold the other party harmless from any obligation to make any payment of any debt assigned to them. So that means anything that's in my name, I'm responsible for, and I can't hold her accountable for it. Name change. Earlier it said she wanted a name change. This line says she's entitled to a name change, but not required to resume the use of her maiden name. The name change is a part of these proceedings, is not intended to defraud or mislead third parties. So whether or not she decides to go with her maiden name, I don't know, but I hope to God she does, because like I said, I really do not want her having my last name. I want no association with her whatsoever. Line 60 on this page 13 of 15. Attorney fees. Ryan shall reimburse Jamie. Previous paperwork told me I had to reimburse her attorney. This one says I shall reimburse Jamie in the amount of $3,000. No, it's not happening. I'm not reimbursing her $3,000. She's the one that wanted to be an idiot and go get a goddamn attorney. That is her own problem. If she couldn't afford it, you shouldn't have got an attorney. So, again, I don't know how you're going to get $3,000 out of me, but I am not paying it for you. So, and it says I'm supposed to do it within 60 days of the entry of the judgment. Effects of the bankruptcy. Essentially, if either party filed bankruptcy, it wouldn't dissolve any of our legal obligation according to what this court order says. So, which means can't stop child support from it. If I owe her, let's say, $3,000 for her attorney, it's not going to stop me from paying her that $3,000 and so forth. So the bankruptcy would be more, let's say if I filed bankruptcy, that would to wipe my personal debt. So let's say the credit card debt that I have, it would wipe my credit card debt off, but nothing to do with a court hearing. Tax consequences, that anything we're responsible for our own taxes and related to the division of the property that we had. Then it goes line 63, that after 31 days after the service of notice of entry of judgment and decree, that Diane L. Shull, out of Broadwick Law Office, will withdraw as her attorney, so she will no longer be the attorney. Execution of required documents. Each party shall, within 14 days from and after the date of entry of judgment or upon presentation, which obviously doesn't matter because this is a prior to that. The actual official decree, whatever, that there is what takes place. And then that's that. So basically everything I read there is the basically what's finalized. But again, her attorney is really pathetic, and I don't know where she got her law degree from. And if she ever became a judge, the world's in for a lot of hurt because, again, she can't get addresses right. Apparently, the town that I live in is in North Dakota, which is funny. And then, what was the other thing? I can't remember what the other thing was. Oh, the other thing was, missing all the even pages. I have all the odd pages here, but I have no even pages of this decree, which means that how can this be an official order if you don't provide all the documentation that should be there? So, again, the judge that signed off on this, obviously, I imagine she has all the paperwork there, but that Lolita, again, it's dishonorable. I will never call a judge the other one. It's dishonorable. Lolita Hartle Romanek. And they can call it whatever they want. They can try to file charges against me, get a restraining order. I really don't care, because if you think it's going to stop me from voicing my opinions and telling the truth and exposing all this crap for what it is, it's not going to stop me. You can throw my ass in jail, but I guarantee you that they can only hold me in jail for so long, and when I get back out, I'll be right back at it again, and they can throw me back in jail, and then I'll get back out, and it'll be I got hair apparently floating around. I saw it'll be floating back and forth. It'll just go around in loops and circles like that. Outside of me, while I'm sitting in jail, I have backup alternatives. I have people that will continue my videos for me and update people for what's going on as far as whatever is related to court matters, whatever is related to me serving jail time. When I get out, if I go back in, any stipulations that are going on out there, I have backup on that. So do keep in mind, it's not going to stop me. And the more subscribers I get and the more people I get out here, the better it's going to be. So as I always ask in all my videos, if you know of anybody that might be interested in listening to these videos, there is a share button down below. Click the share button. Send it as a text message to your friends. Let them view it. Let them see how corrupt the court systems are, how unfair they are to men or fathers. Let them know how screwed I am. Let them see the crap that I'm going through. And that we need change for the best interest of children. I always get tired of hearing the fact that they say that the courts are looking out for the better interest of the child or children, because that's bullshit. Because they don't. Because obviously you can see right here, there is no best interest for the child. Everything in there is designed for the best interest of Jamie, not the child. My daughter gets no access to me whatsoever because my ex refuses that access. So, but otherwise, like I said, that paperwork there, with the signature on the bottom says that they documented it as being official. So I am now a free man, and I am never, ever, ever marrying ever again. I already made sure I can't have any more kids, so that's done. I made sure of that wholeheartedly. I'm tired of this crap. But marriage is never happening again. I will never marry, because when you sign that paperwork, it says 99.9% of stuff belongs to the wife, and the 0.1% is the man, and that's probably the clothes on his back. So other than that, like I said, my plans are, as soon as I get done here, like I said, I'm going to go work on that room. I'm going to pull my credit report. I don't know if I'll be able to do it in the dark, but I want to see if there is a ball hitch on the back of my vehicle to tow a trailer. I'm trying to think what else. As soon as I get that part figured out, I'm going to start also uploading everything that I want to sell, because everything you see here, this little stand right behind me here, the TV stand, the Blu-ray player, the big 65-inch TV, the shelf behind me, the stuff on the shelf. I've got movies over here. I've got movies over there. I've got a bunch of collectibles and stuff in my room, or in the bedroom back there. You name it, but I'm going to go through everything that I've got here, and I'm going to upload it on my, it's my Facebook, but it's not intended as a personal account. It's intended for the pure fact that I'm going to upload items for sale on there so I can get the word out to show the things that I have for sale, so I can hopefully spread the word to get more transparency on it. So maybe more people will become interested or pass the word or go on there. And then as I sell things, I can just easily delete the things from the folders. But I want to sell everything I got, because everything I want to do is I want to cash in on it. All that cash is going to get stored once I get that all wound down. Because as far as I understand, according to the paperwork, child support wouldn't technically kick in until the first of the month following the official order of the divorce decree. So that means June 1st, since the official date was May 2nd, or even if it was May 1st, it doesn't matter. May 1st or May 2nd, it was signed. I can't remember the date on it. But either way, it was signed in May here. So that means June 1st would be the start of the child support. So I'd like to try to get this all done before June 1st. And then, I don't know, with the cash that I got and whatever few credit cards I got, since my credit history isn't going to matter anymore, I'm going to end up losing my car eventually here. I'm going to lose, or my credit history is going to get screwed up. So my ultimate goal is I'd like to take a trip down to, like I said, Disney World. My plan for that was to take it with my daughter. I wanted to take her down there to see all the Disney characters and stuff and explore. I wanted to take her to, I don't know if it still exists. There used to be a place called Wet and Wild Water Park down there. If it still exists, I'd like to take her. I would have liked to take her there, but I don't know if it does. Busch Gardens would be a nice place to visit. SeaWorld would be a nice place to visit. I want to swim with the dolphins. I'd also like to set up an itinerary to be able to stop and visit locations along the way, find some good landmarks or something to go check out. But again, with the cash and the cards, use it up as much as I can. And then when things really hit that rock bottom and they come and get my car and stuff like that, and I have no income and all that crap, then I'm going to file for bankruptcy, wipe my debt clean. I'm going to take care of the DNR and the living will. I've got to get a final will and testament. I got to get that also typed up, which I'm going to, when I go on Monday, I'm going to see if there's a way to talk to somebody in their legal department down there or somebody that deals with that stuff. Although there's not going to be anything that I really have left, because if I sell everything, there's nothing to pass on to any of my kids then at that point. Other than my life insurance policy. But like I said, Tegan's the only one on it at the moment, but I need to change that because there's hell if I'm going to let my daughter have it. Not that I have anything against my daughter, because I would love for her to have it. But at the same time, with the way her mother's being, I don't want her having the potential of accessing that money and spending it on her, because I know she would do such a thing. So I need to change that up and figure out how, but I got to figure out how to intertwine that. So, other than that, another thing I wanted to just mention, and I don't know if anybody else has gotten something like this, but Verizon is who I go through for my cell phone. And I just recently got a letter from them, and I know that I was dealing with an issue recently where a smartwatch was not activating properly in the account. I was dealing with their tech support, and then I was forced to go into the local store and stuff. So that might have had something to do with this, but it says our records indicate that there was a recent device payment eligibility check performed on your account on April 4th, which may have occurred because of a recent inquiry by you or an account manager, which the account manager never told me if he was doing anything of the sort for an eligibility check or anything. Or adding a new device new line under a device payment agreement. I did not add a new line to it either. And then it goes on to say, well, thank you for your interest, but at the time of the inquiry, your account either did not qualify or qualified with a lower credit limit due to the following reasons regarding any accounts that you have or have had with Verizon. And it says account history, length of service, reason for prior service disconnection, service equipment type, contacts with Verizon. So I called Verizon about this, asking what this is about, and the lady I spoke with had no clue. She apparently claimed that she spoke to like 2 or 3 other people earlier in the day about the same issue, and they say that this is something new. You'd think that if a company's going to do something like this, wouldn't you send a letter out first, giving a heads up to your customers to let them know that you're going to receive this? Because this makes me uneasy, because this makes me think that somebody tried to access my account or use my my identity or something like that to try to add a line or or change something on the service to benefit them. I mean, they looked at my account. She said she sees no changes, on there. So, but something to be skeptical about. So if somebody else has got this from Verizon, be aware, just be on edge. They say there's no concern, but again, it's not something that I would 100% trust. So, other than that, I really don't know much else right now. But like I said, it looks like it's official. So, as the title says, divorce is finalized. Thank God, she's 100% out of my life now. I mean, she's not going to be 100%. Because God forbid we have a child together, but I don't have to talk to her. I don't have to communicate with her. I don't have to do anything for her anymore. I have no obligation to her whatsoever, other than the court order saying, hey, you got to pay her child support because she can't afford to get she's a deadbeat and can't afford to get a job or something. So, other than that, I will leave it at that for now. As I get all this other stuff done, I will go ahead and keep you posted. Again, with my doctor's appointment coming up Monday here, regarding the dizziness and the headaches that I get. As soon as I find that out, I will give you an update on that. once I get the whole trailer situation figured out and get that transferred off, I'll let you know when I get that done. Once I sell everything and do this road trip thing, hopefully I'll either record some videos on the road, share them as I'm doing my rounds and stuff. Wherever I go, wherever I visit, I haven't planned that out yet. That's something to come. I may even do some live streams out there while I'm enjoying the events that I'm doing. Other than that, I don't really know much else. Something else that you guys might want to be aware of too. If you haven't researched it, and I'm going to give you guys all a piece of advice about this too. From my personal experience, especially with this divorce, I don't trust courts. And I would recommend to any of you out there, do not trust the courts. Do not trust judges. I have not found one honorable judge out there whatsoever yet. I have not personally encountered one that has been fair and and decided a case without prejudice, basically. So don't trust judges, no matter what you're doing. If it's a criminal aspect, if it's a family aspect, if it's a financial bankruptcy, I don't think would be as bad because obviously you're just dealing with wiping your debt off. But when it comes to the court systems, I wouldn't trust them. But don't trust judges. Don't trust attorneys because judges were once attorneys. Attorneys become judges. So you have to learn the system to be, and be corrupt in order to make it somewhere in life. And the only way an attorney works for you is if you got money. So that's how they work. And a key point of that was at that dismissal hearing, that dishonorable Michael Thompson, he says, I would highly recommend that you get an attorney. Of course he would, because he was once an attorney. He wants me to feed my money to somebody that I can't afford, not caring about whether or not I have money to live off of. So of course he wants that because it's a business. Attorneys are just a business. They're just there to take your money. That's all they want. Court systems are no different. They want you to pay library fees, legal fines, or legal fees, whatever the court fees are, state fees, whatever they got for fees. They want you to pay that because they want it. That's how they make bank. Child support is actually a business for court systems in counties. The reason why, for example, the child support I pay my second ex, every paycheck there's $1 fee. So imagine I get 26 paychecks in a year, right? Because it's every 2 weeks that I get a paycheck. So 52 divided by 2, that's 26 paychecks. That's $26 a year that I'm paying in $1 fee. And it's, I don't know what they call it, administrative fee, I think it is. Now imagine I'm not the only person paying child support in this world. So imagine every person that is paying child support that's getting it automatically deducted from their actual checks. They're also paying these dollar fees. Now let's say you have 50,000, right? So if there's 50,000 people, right? And essentially they're paying $1 per paycheck, 26 paychecks a year. So you take that 50,000 people times $26 a year, right? That equals 1,300,000. That's 1,300,000. That's just an example I'm saying. There's more than 50,000, of course. I'll guarantee you that. There's millions of people in this country, or even world, but especially the United States. There's millions of people. So imagine that $26 times millions of people. The government is making multi-million dollars off of just that administrative fee that they're collecting off of us, just so they can withdraw that money from our checks. On top of, it's been proven by people out there that the system also gets a percentage of whatever they take out of your checks for child support. So whatever they court order you to pay for child support, there's a certain, I don't know what the percentage is. I haven't found it. I haven't researched it yet, but there is a percentage that they get of that too. It might be small. So let's say 5%, but that all adds up now. Then on top of that, you pay your taxes. So out of your checks, and you also pay taxes when you go buy stuff from a store. Most stuff other than health foods and clothing here in Minnesota, that is. So they get taxes there. If you're like me and get stuck paying income taxes, not only am I paying taxes out of my checks, income taxes out of my checks, and taxes to the businesses, I'm also paying, again, more taxes for my income taxes. There's that. Then so the state has its own percentage of tax. The state tax for Minnesota is 875 or 6.875, I think it is, percent. Yeah, 6.875% is the state tax, I believe it is. So that 6.875% is the state tax. Now, counties can have their own tax, which here in Candy, Ohio County, they have another 0.5% tax, so it's a 0.5% tax, which is supposed to go for roadways. So now what I pay on top, state tax to county tax here, now I pay 7.375 around here. Throughout the state, it varies. Some are strictly 6.875, some might be more than 7.375, and there might be some, or there would be nothing less than 6.875. But of course, it could be the same as where I'm at now with the 7.375 or more. So there's 3 different levels of taxes, I guess. But that tax is supposed to go and pay for the roadways and stuff. Well, I don't see them working shit around here on these roadways. They all look like crap. They got holes in them. They got cracks, and I mean they're the most horrid thing ever. Then the state also funds roadway systems with their state taxes as well. They are supposed to designate a certain amount of that money to go towards the statewide roadways. There was a disgruntled thing where they were trying to figure out where to designate the last amount. And what happened was that they chose 3 different counties in the cities. 3 different counties. And that's the only place in the entire state of Minnesota that was designated money for roadways. And everybody else got shafted in this state, which is a crock of shit. And there's a lot of people pissed off, but I haven't seen anything resolved about it. But they were trying to find a better people wanted a better resolution to this, to disperse it fairly and equally amongst the most needed high priority within the state. That's like taxes and funding that we were supposed to apply towards schooling. What's happening to schooling? Schooling's starting to shut down. People are starting to homeschool. School systems are getting bad. The crime is starting to raise. Fights are breaking out in school. The crime is increasing dramatically. We're paying taxes to go to your local law enforcement. When do you see them doing their job half the time? Half the time I see them sitting on the side of roadways talking to each other, screwing around. Or as I explained in prior videos that I said, like that road rage incident when I was on my way to work and the guy cut me off and he wanted to fight with me and stuff. So I had called 911 at the time, which never again will I ever call the police or 911. I don't give a shit what it is. If I'm dying of a heart attack, let me fucking die of a heart attack, because I honestly don't care. Unless you can talk to the medical people directly and get them to come over here and help you, then do it that way. But don't go through the dispatcher, because Candy White County dispatchers are shit, along with their law enforcement. But I had called 911 telling them that this guy is road raging with me, chasing me around the parking lot at that time. And all the dispatcher said is, hey, we got your information and we dispatched it to officers. If they have any questions or need anything from you, they'll reach out to you. What? This guy's chasing me around right now and you're not sending a fucking cop to the scene to prevent this? No. Oh, no. If there's concern, we'll send them out there. So, again, I don't trust law enforcement. I don't trust attorneys. I don't trust judges. I don't trust any government-related officials, politicians, or child support enforcement sector, your health and human services, which is your welfare department. VA is really hard to even trust. I got back and leg problems, and I got mental health issues, my anxiety, my depression. My life is not perfect, and it's getting worse and worse. And I'm 80% rated by the VA for my military. But every time I go to St. Cloud VA, I just don't feel comfortable down there. I just don't feel like I'm getting the care that I deserve I should get. I look at other people in that place too, and I listen to them complain half the time. And I get it. I get where they're coming from. And I feel bad for them too. The VA is a shit show. And that's where I'm getting to the point that don't trust anybody in the government sector, no matter what it is or what department or what kind of level it is. Do not trust them. Your best bet is to take care of yourself. You may have to jump through hoops in certain government aspects, like, if you want a driver's license so you don't get charged by a cop for driving without a driver's license and stuff like that, you're going to have to go to the DMV, license plates and license tabs. You may have to do that, but do as very little minimal interactions as you can with them, because it's your best bet. Like me, I am this moment forward. Like I said, if something happens, I am not calling the cops anymore. If I see somebody go off on the road and get into an accident, I'm not calling. I don't want to be a part of that. I want nothing to do with it. And if by chance you interact with any law enforcement or any kind of public official in the presence or essence of their duties, make sure, if you have your cell phone, make sure you turn it on and record the entire thing from beginning to end. If you know that they're going to approach you, get it started right away. Start recording. If they tell you to turn off your camera, do not turn off your camera. Under no legal obligation are you to turn off your camera. They cannot order you to turn it off. There's certain places that can restrict you, private, let's say doctor's offices, that go into the back corridors, the private room areas, but like the front lobby, technically they cannot restrict you from using your video camera or whatever on there in that lobby. If there's any, and they're gonna start citing HIPAA laws, for example, that's bullshit, because HIPAA laws have nothing to do with the front lobby. The front lobby is you greet, you give your name, and that's it, and then they check you in, and anything that you discuss medically or privately has to be done in a private room. It's a public lobby, so keep in mind that key word is public. If you're in a public lobby of pretty much most places, you're under no obligation to have to turn off your camera. You have every right to record in there, because when you're in public, there is no reasonable expectation of privacy, which means that if somebody's walking down, let's say a sidewalk, outside, and you're recording them and they get mad at you, too bad. If they want their privacy and don't want to be recorded, then just don't come out in public. Go back home or turn the opposite direction and avoid the guy with the camera. If you go online here, go on YouTube, type 1A audit or type in First Amendment audits, and go look at a lot of these videos out here. There's a lot of people starting this up because the biggest people that violate that, people complain as a civilian, and the first thing they're going to do is call the cops. And the cops are probably going to show up. But any educated police officer and anybody that I don't want to say good cops, because I don't know if there really are any good cops out there, but any cop that knows his job and knows the laws, knows that they cannot stop you from recording, the first thing they're going to do is avoid you and just go straight to the person that filed that complaint and educate them to let them know that they cannot stop the guy from recording, as that is a First Amendment protected activity. That is our constitutionally protected activity. So going forward, if you ever get pulled over in a traffic stop, you're ever walking out in public or something like that, or walking down a sidewalk, or you're in a public park or wherever, pull out your phone, or if you have a camera, start recording. If you see any public officials, from senators, mayors, congressmen, police officers, medical people, whether it be firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, and so that, because this is going to be your lifesaver and this is going to be your best friend, because in the long run, like I said, attorneys are not to be trusted because they are money makers. But if you got something that's going to make money, then they're there to help you. And if you make $1 million settlement off of something because they violated your rights, and the attorney gets, let's say, 30% of it, so they get $300,000, that still leaves you $600,000. The attorney is going to be your best friend then, So record it, save the video footage, lock it off, secure it. If you have to live stream like I'm doing here on my computer, do it live stream from your phone. Do it. I highly recommend it, but go research that stuff. If you're ever interested out there, go check it out. There's a lot of different people out there that don't give a shit about law enforcement, don't give a shit about what they think. I can tell you a couple of them if they're on right now. We'll see what I can find here. Let's see. One guy that takes no shit from nobody, and he's actually live right now. I can see his live symbol. It's called the Eric Brandt Show. The Eric, ERIC, Brandt, BRANDT Show, SHOW. This guy he rides around with a flag on the back of it that says "fuck the cops," and he'll ride down on this little like it's called an e-trike. It's got an electric motor in it, and he rides down like sidewalks and stuff like that. And he looks for police officers in the presence of their duties, being active in their duties, like whether it's a traffic stop or a car accident or whatever. And as long as it's within a public accessible area and stuff like that, or any view from the public, because see, let's say you want to record into somebody's yard, for example. If you're on a public sidewalk, and you're recording into somebody's yard, because their fence isn't high enough, it's legal. So it's the same thing. So if you got a cop that's in somebody's yard having a talk with the homeowner, and you're on a public sidewalk, and you can get that camera and you can get it to see what's going on in there, then they can't stop you from doing it. And this guy does that. He will go find anything there is. And as he's going down the sidewalk and he passes random civilians and stuff like that, he'll be like, fuck the cop. I can't talk today. Happy fuck the cops day or whatever and stuff like that. He'll say stuff like that. Or happy fuck the police day or whatever, or he'll just say fuck the cops and stuff. But he is definitely one guy that I've been watching, because he doesn't take shit from nobody. And these guys literally put their lives on the line for the fact that they are trying to protect our activity out there from the First Amendment with the recording and aspect. That's one aspect. There's 2A auditors, or the Second Amendment auditors. That is the right to bear arms, basically, here in the United States. That's the right for you to be able to carry a conceal and carry or open carry. It doesn't matter, whatever your state regulations are. But it's within legal rights. Like me, I have a permit to carry that I did training for. So now I can carry a gun in public, and I just got to have my ID and that card with me at all times, and I can carry whether it be concealed or unconcealed. So I haven't been carrying on me lately. It's locked in a box, but I do have that if I need it. And it's probably going to start coming out more often here as I go out in public more, because it's becoming harder to feel safe in a world of today. But there's Second Amendment auditors out there. Those guys go out there and carry guns intentionally along, public accessible streets, and are voicing their rights to carry that. And they basically just do it free willingly. They do it in the right way, with aiming the gun or rifle or whatever downwards towards the ground. Depending upon your state regulations, may or may not have a round loaded in the chamber. But those guys do it effectively and legally and in the correct way, in the correct manner. And they just walk up and down expressing their right to carry. And then they look and see if some random civilian feels all threatened because somebody's walking down the street with a gun. And then they call the police, and then the police show up, and then they see if the police violate your rights. Because technically, if you're not doing anything in a criminal act or in a criminal way, they cannot take your weapon from you. They cannot restrict you from carrying. The most that they're supposed to do is they're supposed to approach you calmly and effectively. And then the most that they can do is just say, hey, ask what they're doing. And are you exercising your Second Amendment right? And if the guy says yes, okay, do you have a legal right to carry? Yes. The most that, anybody, which technically, if you haven't committed a crime, they legally cannot ID you. So they're not supposed to ID you. So they can ask politely for your ID, but they cannot force you to give up your ID or to ID yourself. So keep that in mind. That you're under no obligation to have to give your ID or your concealment permit or whatever in regards to that, because you have committed no crime. If they are trying to force you to do it, then you ask, what crime do you reasonably and articulately suspect me of committing or whatever, or can you tell me what crime I have committed or suspect me of committing, or something in those along that lines. And if they cannot officially, if they're saying, well, we got a concern is not a crime, they have to reasonably and articulately suspect you of committing a crime. If they do not suspect you of committing a crime or brandishing the weapon in any shape or form that would be an endangerment to society, then they legally cannot ID you. They cannot confiscate your weapon. They cannot illegally search you. They can ask you questions, and you have every right, to plead the fifth, and and have the right to remain silent if you want. But yeah, so there's First Amendment auditors and Second Amendment auditors, and a lot of them like to enforce the Fourth and Fifth Amendments. You know, the right to not self-incriminate yourself, or the right to remain silent, which is the Fifth Amendment, or the fourth is unreasonable search or seizure. So, you have the right to freely travel without being stopped or whatever, or them impeding on your right to freely travel. So. But either way, if you want to learn more of this, go out on YouTube, type in 1A audit, 2A audit. Those are the two common ones that are floating around out there. You can find a lot of different people. Furry Potato is a transgendered man as a woman. Furry Potato has been through quite a few different incidences. An example would be a security guard or whatever that had at a synagogue, that Furry Potato was actually out on the sidewalk and freely expressing their right to film. And the security guard was apparently feeling all threatened, which Furry Potato had no, and it's all recorded, had no threats whatsoever, no aggressiveness, no hostility towards anybody. And this guy basically told Furry Potato to stop recording and to back up and leave and stuff like this. And this security guard had a gun. And it got to the point that Furry Potato was shot by the security guard in the leg while on a public sidewalk, while freely expressing the First Amendment right, without being aggressive and without being threatening in any shape or form. And that's wrong. I mean, that's wrong of that security guard. The synagogue should have been sued. The security guard should have been sued. I don't know. I would have to do some research to see if that ever went anywhere, if a lawsuit ever was started or not. But that's one person to check out. Another one is Johnny 5-0. Johnny 5-0 recently, him and Bell recently had went to do a First Amendment audit at the one of the VAs. And the public relations director came out there and basically hassled and harassed them and stuff like that. About 9 officers showed up, and Bell and Johnny 5-0 in no way were being hostile or aggressive. They were freely expressing their right to film in a public lobby, but they weren't having it, and they were claiming that people were getting concerned. And what disgusts me, and this is what really disgusts me about that, is that the VA is full of veterans who served this country. I'm a disabled veteran too, that have served this country for the sake of protecting our constitutionally protected rights, and that is the First Amendment. And I've seen people on there bitching at Johnny 5-0 and Bell for doing that constitutionally protected right that veteran fought for, and they're disgusted that somebody's doing that, which makes no sense. If you're disgusted with it, then why did you serve in the military? Why did you serve that red, white, and blue flag with the stars on it, or to serve the Constitution? Or why did you take that oath to defend this country for that reason? If you're not happy with it, I don't get it. I'm all for it, man. I want them to go all out. I want them to do it. So, but again, and Bell and them, they were haggled and harassed by them. They started getting angry. They started swearing back at them, which again, any Supreme Court or a Supreme Court has already ruled on it, that if you swear in a public, environment or whatever, it's not disorderly conduct. And I know cops like to use disorderly conduct to their advantage quite a bit. Disorderly conduct is a real vague term that cops can file a charge against you with and try to uphold it or whatever and get you for fines and stuff like that, because they have no true crime that you committed. And they'll try to use that if you swear in public. But again, if you swear in public, it doesn't matter if you swear, because the Supreme Court already upheld it as a constitutionally protected right, as a freedom of speech. Swearing is your opinion. It is your God-given right. That is your freedom to do. So they were getting angry and they were swearing a bit. And so it elevated. But that's because the PR relations manager and those 9 cops being there aggravated the situation. And it got to the point they arrested Johnny 5-0 and Bell. Bell has a spinal injury, and they did not listen to a dang thing she said, and they basically pushed her to the ground, was twisting her in ways, and she had requested on multiple occasions to be treated, which she was right there in the VA, and the emergency room was right there or whatever, or doctors were right there, to be at least treated and be seen by the facility before being transferred anywhere, because she was in so much pain and stuff like that. But I hope to God they are suing the VA. I hope to God that they find an attorney to sue the living hell out of them, whether it be civilly amongst the people that arrested them, or whether it be against the entire VA facility and the government. But whatever it may be, I hope to God that they sue and get some money for that, because it's horrible to watch that crap. But again, Eric Brandt show. You got Johnny 5-0 and Bell. What else we got here? There's another one that's called Colorado Donkey Watch. Again, that's another one that's basically out there, exposing cops for what they are. I recently watched a video on there where some police officers were at a gas station. The guy had just literally pulled up there, but his first reaction, because he saw police officers there, was to turn on his phone and record. And while he was recording, an officer approached him and said, well, we're going to confiscate your phone because that's evidence now. No, it's not evidence. If you want something on there, you can request a warrant for it, or you can ask politely to get a copy of that if they want, and work with them. You cannot force him to give up his phone. And the guy wasn't even there to record the whole incident, so he doesn't even know what the hell went on in the first place. He recorded the last half. He just turned it on while he was pumping gas to protect himself because there were so many cops around. Later on, an undercover cop, and this is the irony behind this, is such craziness, but the undercover cop approached him and said, hey, don't be putting my picture up there or whatever and stuff, because he's an undercover cop and he's risking the lives of the cops and stuff like that. Okay, first off, the guy was right. Not the guy, not the detective, but the guy that was recording. He was right when he said, he goes, we're in danger every day. We are in danger every day. When you got cops in the street that are so bullheaded, bullies, corrupt, and they're carrying guns, and they're basically blue ISIS terrorists with badges, our lives are in danger in their hand, because cops are starting to kill so many people in our country illegally, unlawfully, and sometimes retaliation and stuff like that. They file false charges, you name it. So our lives are in danger. So I am totally with that cameraman for that. And before you know it, the guy got the undercover cop's face on the damn camera. Good. Expose them fucking undercover cops. I'm tired of two-faced pieces of shit like that, because, honestly, there is no good cop that I've ever come across yet. I honestly have not met one that has been fully honest, truthful, cared about the well-being of a person. You see stories on the web, but that could be one good act compared to 20 bad acts he could have committed. So, but yeah, so keep that in mind. I'm glad that guy did what he did, and that's Colorado Donkey Watch that did that. So if you can find that video or go look up his channel, you can watch it. It's pretty crazy. There's a First Amendment audit by Amagansett Press. It's Amaganssett and then Press. He's another one that does First Amendment audits. And there's a lot more. I don't know, there's a lot more, but if you start getting into it and you watch a couple channels, you can see how different people connect. So check them out, or just type in the searches and you can probably pull up a lot of channels that way, like 1-8 audit or First Amendment audit. Same thing with Second Amendment audit. Do a search for that. We as American people need to start standing up for what we believe in, our rights, look out for our safety. Stop letting these cops get the best of us. Stop letting them be so corrupt. Don't trust judges, don't trust lawyers, don't trust politicians or anybody in the government sector. And even if you have a relative in the government sector, do keep in mind, don't trust them. I don't care how well you know your aunt, uncle, brother, sister, mother, father. If they're in the government sector, do not 100% trust them, because anybody that has the audacity to work in the government sector and still work in the government sector after knowing how corrupt the government is makes them guilty by association. So I want you to all be aware. do some research, look it up, use your phone, record, save the footage. Don't let them intimidate you. Do not let them threaten you. Do not let them take this from you. If they try to take it from you, close it out. Make sure you got a pin lock on your phone that they can't get access to, so they can't get the video off there. You're better off if you live stream, because then if you live stream, it's automatically instantly uploaded to YouTube. If you're lucky and you got people that out there to actually watch it at the time that it's happening, you already got your witnesses right there watching the incident as it happens. And I guarantee you, if you get one of those people on those channels that I talked about, they're going to spread the word, and all those people that are subscribed to their channel are going to spread the word, and the word is going to get out. So trust me, it's not going to sit well, because I guarantee you, those people are going to rattle the chains of the police department or the sheriff's department or any politician that's involved. They're going to rattle the chains and intimidate them back until they either drop the charges or admit or confess to what they did was wrong, or get exposure to what the hell's going on. So, but anyways, I'm hitting right around that 2-hour mark, so I know I kind of rambled quite a bit. Again, Maisie, if you're still out here, it was great to see you pop in the room for a moment. I'm not sure why you retracted your message or removed your messages. I didn't see anything wrong with it. There was nothing personal about it. And but nevertheless, I appreciate you stopping by, at least saying hi and asking how I am and stuff. So that, like I said, that does mean a lot to me. So regardless that you're adopted by by your mother's husband, you are still my daughter wholeheartedly, blood. And I always hold a special spot for all you kids in my heart. So I want you to know that. Hopefully you'll reach out to me sometime. If you want to reach out again, you're more than welcome to. If you want to get together sometime or whatever, sit down, whatever, like I said, it's always on the table for you. So just let me know. Otherwise, keep up. If you're subscribed to my channel, stay subscribed. If you got friends that you can pass this on to, do me a favor, pass this on. Let's get the word out. Anybody else that watches this, please feel free to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Like the videos if you like the videos, or dislike, whatever you choose. Hopefully you like, because honestly, these are serious topics and they definitely need some addressing. There's a shared button down below. Click that share button. Send the link to your friends in a message. Tell them to watch at least a video or a couple videos, or most of all, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Let's show support out here. It's always great to know when there is support. So, again, if you got any comments, feel free to comment down below. If I'm in live chats, feel free to use the chat on the side, or wherever it is on your location. Feel free to use the chat, whether it be below, on the side, whatever. Feel free to communicate with me. But I appreciate anybody that's sticking with me through this so far. I appreciate anybody that has subscribed. Especially you subscribers out there, anybody that has subscribed. You have no idea how much it means to me to see you subscribe to my channel, because that means a lot to me. And anybody that does view my videos, again, that also means a lot to me, because at least I know you're taking the time, even if it is 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is of the video, you're seeing something of it. If you get something planted in there, you may not like it at the moment, but let's say you go to bed and then it bothers you, or you think about it while you're in bed, and then you wake up and be like, you know what, I got to see some more. It might drag you back here. Great. But I don't care if it's 5 minutes or an hour or the whole video. You viewing it shows there are people out here that are coming to visit, check it out, and watch it. So again, subscribe, like, share, comment, turn on notifications if you haven't already done so. If you want to get notified for when I pop on for our next live stream, like I said, next time I should be here should be hopefully Monday. If I get back early enough, that is, after the doctor's office. I will do, I don't know if I'll do a live stream, but it might be just a video, just giving you guys an update about what the doctor found out, or what he thinks it might be, or whatever it might be. So I'll keep you posted on that, but stay tuned for more live streams down the road and more updates as I go through all this crap. So I know it's really late. It's 12:09 a.m. here my time, and I'm sure some of you want to either get to bed, some of you might be working, some of you might be staying up late, but I appreciate you stopping by. You guys have a wonderful night, and I'll be in touch soon. So take care.